Hey, Yetta, I bet I can swim longer than you can.
You know you can't.
Moving forward with the Dekker Team. Moving forward together with the Dekker Team.
We're excited that for over 30 years, we've been able to come alongside you over 3,117 times to buy, sell, and invest in real estate. Not only that, though, we've been able to come alongside you to build your fitness, build your fun, build your faith, and even strengthen, heal, and flourish inside your relationship. And of course, get a handle on your finances too. So 30 years of building your life, your home, and your wealth. So we're going to discover. We got a discovery session here that we're continuing, that a challenge may be a motivator.
Yeah, for me it is.
Right.
For me, big time. And I think that's why I like, have a trainer that will challenge me to do more than I would do myself. Right. I like to compete against other companies, against other salespeople, and especially against myself. Right. The challenge of being better than I was yesterday fuels me. And so when there's a issue, a trouble, a problem, an issue, a dilemma,
frustration.
If I look at that as a challenge to be solved.
Challenge to overcome.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Problem to be solved. Challenge to overcome. If I see it as a challenge, then that can really, really help me.
Yeah, what's interesting is, as Ken said, a challenge to be solved, because his default, like if he only chooses one of the three when we use the word POC, and I don't even think we've said that out loud yet, but what we recognize is that most people will have a default of attacking a trouble, attacking a dilemma, how to navigate through that difficulty. And so you're either going to be a problem to be solved, an opportunity to be seized, or a challenge to overcome. And that default is not good, bad, or otherwise. They're the same. They kind of get you to the same place, just in a different way that feels most congruent with us.
And that's where the POC acronym comes from.
Exactly.
Problem, opportunity, challenge.
Exactly. And so I love that you threw the two together.
This is my natural bent.
Because it's your default.
Yes.
Right? If you're going to err on one, and that doesn't mean you don't love a challenge. And that doesn't mean you don't find opportunities in the midst of a dilemma.
Yeah. Throw down the challenge. I'll take it.
Exactly. And yet you're first going to go to. So the big thing we really want to drive home here, we used to think, or Ken used to think, that unless you saw it as a problem to be solved, and I used to think that unless I saw it as a challenge to overcome, I wasn't doing right by the issue. Mm-hmm. Right? And that's not at all it. Like, there's not one that's better than the other.
No, but what's fascinating is, let's say you threw down a challenge and you did it to a group of people. And the challenge was, who can build the puzzle the fastest?
Right?
Okay,
I've done that.
That's a challenge.
Fun.
Yeah, it's fun. Now, there are people like myself that will go, we'll change that challenge into a problem and say, well, if I problem solve, what's the fastest way to build a puzzle? That now is a problem. And I can solve that by saying, okay, you do the outside, you do this inside piece, you do this. And it actually brings me into a leadership position as a problem solver on how to build the fastest puzzle.
Right.
Right? Although it's the challenge driving it, I use my natural bent to solve it.
Right. And so we want you to embrace whatever your natural bent is. We're not trying to say you have to look at it differently. We're attempting to say they're all wonderful. All of them are wonderful. And I used to live in the space of everything was a challenge to be like to overcome. Right? My difficulties that I had as a young kid, it was like, how do I strive to overcome that challenge?
Tell me about some of those challenges.
Oh, I don't know that I want to right now. But just learning to speak the English language.
Well, thank you. That was the one I was thinking of. That's a major one, right? You came to Canada as a 5-year-old. Your mother tongue was Danish. You hadn't really probably learned written skills yet.
No.
It was just oral skills. And you went into grade 1. And what happened?
Well, I almost failed because I couldn't understand anybody. I felt stupid, all that stuff. And I carried that for most of my life, really. That sense of I couldn't learn fast enough. I couldn't navigate the language, terrible speller, terrible writer, terrible speaker, forget all that stuff. And so eventually, though, it became, and I had a teacher come alongside me to help me overcome that challenge. Mm-hmm. She spent every day in the summer with me in grade 3 because I managed to muddle my way through grade 1. They didn't fail me, even though they threatened to, and to get through grade 2. And the problem was just getting bigger and bigger because I was so far behind.
You're falling further and further behind.
Further and further behind. And so it was for me, how do I strive? And life for me personally didn't get easier till I started seeing things as opportunities. So you can shift how you see things. But I navigated, and I have navigated most of my life looking at it from a challenge perspective.
So
and
life
it worked for me.
Life was challenging.
Life was
and
challenging.
You were going to survive it.
No matter what, I was going to survive. And somehow in my journey, moving into the opportunity phase was my lifesaver, because now I could start to look at how do I thrive inside new possibility, inside new opportunity. And that's not necessarily everybody's story. I'm not thinking you need to switch from the bent that you have. We all have a bent. And if it's not working for you, consider the other bents. Right? Is it a problem to be solved that is better for you? Is it an opportunity to be seized, or is it a challenge to overcome?
Yeah, and I think for me, I like a challenge because then it turns into a game, right? Problem solving can be tedious, but challenges, now you're engaging my sense of competition and winning, and so I can turn issues into a game.
Which is a lot of fun, right?
It can be a lot of fun, even though the issue or the struggle is not a lot of fun. Right. The challenge of overcoming it can be fun if you make it a game.
Yeah. And if you're sitting here going, I'm so confused right now. I don't know which one I am. I don't know which one's more fun. Just take a little bit of time to sit down and reflect. You'll see how you attack an issue. You'll see how you come at those things that cause you trouble in life. And a skill that we've learned that's so awesome is bring together 3 or 4 people, all with a different bent, when I have something to solve that's bigger than me. Bigger than you and I.
That's huge.
If we could, and we do so much better even just bringing you and I together than if I just look at everything from a place of an opportunity, because it sometimes gets too optimistic and I can't see what the problems are that need to be solved in the midst of it. I can't see what challenges need to be overcome. So if you can bring together a small team of people that have a different vantage point from which to come at the issue, we call it come with your version of POC, either the problem, the opportunity, or the challenge. It's amazing the answers that show up. Things that you could never have got to by yourself.
Yeah. And it's easy to lose your energy when you're in the midst of a trouble. And what I like to do is look at, okay, what challenges have I faced in the past? Look at that I was successful. Garner that energy of success and then bring that to the new challenge. Changes everything. So my challenge to you is, when you're facing an issue, will you get together a few people and come at the issue from the POC acronym, from a problem, an opportunity, or a challenge? And we're honored to be your advocates in building wealth through real estate and living a life exponential.
Moving forward with the Dekker Team. Moving forward.